She wanted to be unburdened by what her mother had been. Yes.
Very nice. Very nice.
Net Positive, baby. Episode 132. Off this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Headed on the road to finish out 2024. November 21st in Midland, Texas. 22nd, Lubbock, Texas. 23rd, 24th in Dallas. 3 shows. 2, I believe, are sold out. Then December 6th, 7, and 8 in Toledo, Chicago, and Davenport, Iowa. We'd love to see y'all. Had a fantastic weekend of shows. This weekend in Savannah, Augusta, Athens, and 2 shows last night in Bristol, Tennessee were unbelievable. 2025, ladies and gentlemen. Let me rattle off some of these starting in February. Fayetteville, North Carolina, Greensboro, Shippensburg, Bowling Green, Indy, Columbus, Rochester, Wilkes-Barre, Tysons, that's a D.C. area, Branson, Kansas City, St. Louis, Lynchburg, Virginia, adding a second show there, Cincinnati, adding a second show there, Grand Junction, Salt Lake City, adding a second show there, Omaha, Wichita, Sacramento, Fresno, San Diego, adding a second show there, Pensacola, adding a second show there, Sarasota, adding a second show there, I believe, and Charlotte, adding a second show there as well. We cooking, baby. We firing off, ladies and gentlemen. This week's episode brought to you by iHerb. Ladies and gentlemen, support for today's episode comes from iHerb. That's how you, iHerb offers the best curated selection of wellness products at the best possible value across a variety of categories, such as supplements, sports nutrition, groceries, and beauty. That's your one-stop shop for all your health and wellness needs. Look at me. Look at Alex. The epitome of health and wellness. And you look at Easton, and he's not. And that's because he doesn't have any of the benefits yet.
We're making sure, actually, at this point, that he doesn't take any of our sponsors.
Yeah, just
things, so you have a contrast, like
before and after.
Yeah, we're A/B testing.
Yeah, you're like, it's a before and after. Yeah,
Easton just dies in 6 months, and we're just like, see?
Yeah, didn't have any of it. iHerb, ladies and gentlemen, cares about what's actually inside every bottle that make up your morning routine, from self-care or cool-down routines and more. They test to verify to ensure that what you find in every bottle is what's supposed to be there. Their site is super easy to navigate. That is true, actually. You can search by category, brand, or ailments. You want to help with your circulatory support or digestive support, then you can further narrow your search by ratings, price, diet, like vegan or vegetarian. They really thought everything through in making the shopping of these products convenient and safe. I got a whole box of stuff from them. And you can tell, if you zoom in on my face, you'll be like, yeah, this guy, something different about him.
That's true.
Something different about him. Listen to this. iHerb offers over 50,000 products in a variety of categories, including supplements, sports, nutrition, and beauty. And our listeners, ladies and gentlemen, get 22% off their first order when using the code NETPOSITIVE at iHerb.com/NetPositive. Existing customers receive 15% off and 22% off your first order at iHerb.com/shop/NetPositive. Did I read that right the first time?
No, you missed the shop.
Come on, John. iHerb.com/shop/NetPositive and use the promo code NetPositive. Choose iHerb because wellness matters. Boom. Get in there, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, fellas?
What up, dude?
What up, dude? Hot episode today.
Hot.
Brett's in the house.
Yeah.
We were lucky to have her. We've been trying to get her for a while.
I've been also, coincidentally, over the last week, getting a bunch of DMs from people saying, can you have Brett on?
Really?
And I've been biting my tongue, not replying to be like, just wait. You're going to like this week.
We got it coming up. Yep. Yeah, we got it. Me and Brett have been friends for a while.
She's great.
Awesome conversation. I just got back from a trip down south. It was unbelievable.
Georgia.
I was in Georgia, back in the old family stomping grounds.
Love it.
Everybody came out, dudes from my high school.
Nice.
My little brother came to the show, and he said his high school bully was there.
No way.
He said his high school bully was there.
No way.
He said he saw him at the show.
Did they say hi?
No, he went the other way.
Trauma is real, dude.
You got to confront him.
Yeah.
He's like, I was so terrified my high school bully was here, so I went out the back.
Imagine getting running into your high school bully and getting bullied again. That would
re-bully.
That's gotta be the worst thing ever.
Yeah,
right?
You step up and you're like, I'm gonna go confront him and just roast you.
Yeah, And a locker appears and he somehow puts you in it again.
Yeah, he's like, aren't you the? And you're like,
or you call him out and bully him.
In front
of everyone.
You win it back. Yeah, and it's not really the win you thought.
Yeah, you actually don't feel good about it after that.
Like everybody that I has either said something negative about me. I'm like 20 years from now in an acceptance speech, and they're like, "Wait, who said what?" And you're like, "Oh, I thought you're like, dude, I just shot something off on Twitter once. I haven't thought about you since then." I probably bullied some people in high school.
I probably did too.
I don't even remember.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
We're sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's the message of this pod.
Yeah.
I got a funny. Somebody came up to me at the meet and greet and said, "Good news in Savannah, Georgia. Lemons are $1."
Oh, clap it up for that.
Clap it up.
We
Lemons are
love
$1.
that.
Oh, dude, somebody brought you guys some gifts.
Ooh.
I got to bring them in next week. I forgot.
I'm loving the fan gifts. They're fun.
But they bring gifts and you got to give these to Alex.
Okay.
And Easton. I was like, I'm fine. I'll pass it. I left it at the house.
Okay.
But I had a perfect an interaction this week, the day of the election, that summed up everything. Mm-hmm. A lot of the conversations that we've been having in here for forever. So I walk down to Publix.
Yep.
I'm getting a sub, and it's the day of the election. And I'm like, this black lady is making my sub.
Nice.
Why are you looking like that?
Usually I know it's going to be a good sub when a person of color is
She's
making
me a chicken finger. I was like, hey, and I read her name. I think it was like Irma or something like that.
It's bro.
I go, what do you think about this, Irma? What do you think about this chicken finger sub? Which is a strange way to.
It's a weird icebreaker.
That. Yeah, it's a weird icebreaker. But I felt like I was like, hey, Irma. I go, hit me with that chicken finger sub or something like that. It was like kind of not the run of the mill response, and we started chatting, and she had an accent, right? And I was feeling some kind of, sometimes I come in the pod feeling some kind of way,
right?
And I'm like, let me guess based on your accent where you're from. Which you should not do.
Risky game.
Don't do.
Yeah.
Then let me just say, do not do. If you're not, so I go, and then she goes, she's laughing. She goes, yeah, go for it. And I go, I'm going to say Jamaica. And she goes, no. She goes, not even. She goes, a lot of people say that. I'm from Haiti.
Oh, okay.
And then I go, oh. And I shouldn't. The second thing I shouldn't have done.
Right.
I go, oh, what do you? So everybody's like roasting you about the dogs and the cats. She starts dying laughing, dying laughing. She's like, oh, we've been talking about that. We think it's the funniest thing ever. Like everybody knows us for the dog. Like no one talks about Haiti ever.
Yeah.
And now everybody's asking me about the dogs and the cats. We're sharing these articles around. We think it's so funny.
She's like, we're having a moment right now.
We're having a moment.
Yeah.
We had an unbelievable laugh about it, and and I was like, I'll be back next week, and I high-fived her.
Perfect, bro.
Like, I went back to what we had a conversation about with Matt Walsh a couple weeks ago. He goes, race, the proliferation of race is to make white people feel guilty and black people feel like victims. And that discourse is what I've been seeing around this country everywhere I go.
Yep.
Is that you go in an Uber, you're like, hey, where are you from? What's your interaction with this? And we had the best laugh. And like, I didn't feel guilty about, you can't ask, right? That's what you can't. And she was like, oh, I'm going to feel like a victim because everybody's oppressing us because they say we eat dogs and cats. None of those things were in that conversation.
Yep.
And it was hilarious.
Yeah, I think you could argue that's America at its best.
It is.
That interaction
I don't even think you have
there.
to argue that is America at its best.
Yeah.
And America at its worst is the opposite of that.
Yep.
Oh, I owe somebody reparations or something. And then she's like, we're very offended by it. She's like, none of those things are true. God, it was unbelievable. I wrote that down. I got to discuss this on the pod.
Did you, it was chicken in your sub though, right?
Chicken finger sub.
Okay,
yeah.
I just want to make sure it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean? Oh.
John solved racism in a Publix deli, boys.
Yeah. Hey, come on. They're eating the dog. She was. I would have if somebody else in the deli was like doing an impersonation. She would have died laughing,
dude.
I mean, it's just like all those like AI memes about like Trump carrying dogs and like saving them.
Yes.
It's like that's so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I never forgot actually, but like, oh yeah, like let's bring this back.
Yeah.
America at its best.
I have an election day update as well.
Oh, you do?
So remember last week I said I wasn't able to vote.
Yep.
I ended up being able to vote.
Okay.
What happened was the week prior to the election, I got online and was like, where can I vote? I was like, I don't even know where I'm going because I live in a new house now that I didn't live in last election season.
Oh yeah, you moved.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's a simpler way to say that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where do I vote?
Yeah.
And it pulls up, voter profile and like I plug in my info. It's on the
yeah.
government website and it says like, oh, actually you're not registered to vote. you can register right now.
Yeah.
But big red letters across the top, you will not be able to vote in the election on November 5th. It won't be processed in time.
Yeah.
To which I'm like, it's the internet.
Yeah.
This should be processed as soon as I hit submit.
Right.
But okay, fine. It is what it is. So I'm disappointed in myself as an American. I hit submit. Next week comes around. Tuesday, election day, Meggie texts me.
Come through.
Hey, I double checked. Like I plugged in your info. You are registered to vote.
Yeah.
You can vote today. And I don't know what that's all about.
Let me in.
So I voted.
It's part of a conspiracy.
How can you tell me that I can't vote and then all of a sudden I can?
I think that happened, dude. I lived in California in 2016.
Yeah.
And I think I do not think I don't think they found my name in there. Mm-hmm. They were like, because I moved, and they were like, but we're not gonna. We will let you go through and we will if the election comes down to it.
Comes down to your vote.
Yeah. If let's say there's this batch of let's say in Nashville there's 10,000 that are not in the right district, the right category, we might need to double check. If it electorally came to that, they will let you go through the process of being an American citizen.
Sure.
And then if it's not overwhelmingly to want to, then we will get in. That's why I think last election it took a couple weeks because it was stuff like that. It was so close.
Provisional ballot.
They go, we got to figure. But if you're like, hey, if you're, let's say Trump's winning by 90,000 votes, you're like, let's wait for these 10,000 military votes to get here. Like, well, they voted, and it's not gonna. We're good.
Right.
We can call it or whatever it is. So I think that similar thing happened to me in 2016.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
I was thankful Meggie checked.
Yeah. Go then.
Because otherwise I wouldn't be there.
Proud to be in the Yep. And shout out, dude. Shout out to the pods. Pods are having a big moment.
Pods made it happen.
Pods made it happen. Pods for America, dude.
Pods save America.
Wait, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's encouraging, I think, that like this election has set a precedent.
Yep.
As far as like political candidates now need to, like a prereq for a political candidate, for me now at least, is you need to be able to have a 3-hour unfiltered conversation. Yep. And if you can't do that, then I don't trust you.
And that is good for everybody.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's transparency at the end of the day.
And what the legacy media, I think we get into this a little bit.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
The pods, you're like, the people have had more power than ever.
Yeah.
Have more power. The representation, you have more representation now than you've ever had.
Yeah.
Because you and me and you, we've built these pods. My pod. I've built other people's pods by listening to them.
100%.
You give your attention and your voice and your likes and your reshares to the things, and those people have power.
Yes.
It's not your congressman. I mean, they're certainly part of it, but it's the people that you have lent your ears to.
Yes.
Have shaped the future of this country.
Well, and more importantly, you're not giving that time to legacy media that has proven to not be reliable and has missed massively on issues over the last, realistically 100 years, but specifically the last 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you say,
I feel good about it. I really do.
I feel great about it. If you say go on SNL or go on Rogan, and Kamala Harris went on SNL.
Yeah.
And to not, that's a legacy media decision.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, Rogan is 1,000 times bigger than that. Yeah.
Well, and I think like as long as somebody like, there's nobody like Rogan, but like Rogan and others of the sort.
Yep.
As long as they, I think, are open to having those conversations with both sides of the aisle, then I think we'll be in a more informed position as a country going forward when it comes to, let's go to the polls.
I listen to both.
You have to.
Because you're not. If you care about this country, why would you not?
I'm not watching the debate. I'm not going to get anything out of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, let me see you on a pod.
You consumed the debates based on your algorithm.
Right.
What the best and worst of what kind of
yeah, who had more slam dunk highlights.
Yeah. But the pod is just the pod.
Yeah.
And if you not the clips of it, but watching it in its entirety.
Dude, I would find it hard to believe you can watch anybody speak uncut for 3 hours and not come away with it saying absolutely thumbs up or absolutely thumbs down. You're not going to be in the middle.
That it positively about RFK on like 2 years ago on Rogan. Remember that? I go, this guy is pretty sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or this guy is not with the establishment. I liked him a lot. I liked him a lot when I heard him on
felt
Rogan.
that way about Vance on
Yeah,
Rogan.
I was gonna say JD, the turnaround that he had, and everyone, because they painted him. Even I thought like, oh, he's kind of weird.
Out of the
He's
gate.
like
Yeah,
out of the gate.
Out of the gate, 2 weeks out of the
And
gate.
then that Rogan interview,
Yeah.
even people who were way left were like,
Yeah.
this is like the neighbor. Like a lot of
Yeah.
them were like, it was like, this is like a guy I talked to at my son's baseball game for
Yeah.
the full 3 hours.
And you're like, I if this guy's in the building up there, I would feel good about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if I don't agree with everything,
Yeah.
policy-wise,
If this
I
guy's in the
trust
building-
him that he cares
Yeah.
about the country and
Yeah,
like is a rational, logical human.
And the worst possible thing that can happen for the legacy media is when y'all tell me that this guy's weird, and then you go, wait, this guy?
You ever had that happen where like
This guy?
somebody who you know but not that well is like, hey, I'm bringing my buddy.
Yeah.
He's kind of weird though. You might not like him, and then
Yeah.
they show up and you're like, dude, this guy's cooler than you.
Yeah, this guy rules.
This guy's awesome, dude. We're not inviting you next time we hang out.
Real quick, I'm gonna chill with it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is. For
This
sure.
guy's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're the new mainstream media, dude.
We are.
That's
yeah.
and there's big responsibility that comes with that.
Big responsibility. Yeah.
And I think we did a good job today with Brett.
Yeah, and I think we did. Yeah, I think we did right by all parties.
I think so.
Yeah, Brett, been a friend of mine for a while now. She's come to a couple of my shows, and we've been to a couple of her things, and it's been awesome to see her grow. And then I was like, we got to get someone because she lives here,
She's so sharp.
right down the street.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, I maintain the same decision making with every guest we ever had. I was like, if you like me, if you like this pod, you will like this person, and that's whether that's a country artist or Christian artist or a political figure. Whoever, if you rock with us, you will rock with this person.
Yep.
And that's how we feel about Brett. Enjoy Brett Cooper, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see. Host of the comment section, professional, as according to her, professional yapper and amateur farmer.
Yeah, aspiring farmer.
Expiring farmer.
Yeah.
Brett Cooper is in the building, ladies and
Oh, yeah.
gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
She's back. And the whole squad is out. You're okay. What'd you say? They measure masculinity by how many kids they have?
Oh yeah, it's a running joke between like Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh, where Ben's like he needs to have more kids than everybody else, but Matt, as we were just discussing, has 2 sets of twins. So
That
he's
doesn't
peaking.
I guess anybody you see that has any man that you see with a lot of kids, you're just
Baller.
like,
Good job.
I think.
Yeah.
No one goes, "What's that guy doing?" If they're all if you
Your
see him,
dad's like leader of the pack, by the way.
he has to be. Yeah. Everybody just goes, "Man, how can I help?"
Yep.
And a woman too. Every time when we were growing up, it
A
was
woman
just,
especially.
yeah.
She did it.
They go, what can we, how do we, good for you guys.
Yeah, whatever you need. Here for you.
Yeah. We go into restaurants, we would all be dressed the same too.
Oh, that's good. That's extra homeschooled.
Yeah.
I was homeschooled. I wasn't that homeschooled.
There's levels, there's tiers.
Yeah,
35
there's
seconds
tiers.
in, already being roasted by Brett Cooper. Yeah. Then you go, people were getting up with their seats. Hey, you'll sit here. People were like paying for our checks. They're like, hey, we'll pay for them.
Was it like team tracksuits?
Yeah, pretty close. I'll show you some photos.
Nice.
We did. They
They
all
had
dressed us
plaid
the same.
button-up shirts.
We were. I mean, there was no time for people disobeying.
Okay.
Not out of just out of necessity. Like we're not gonna make it if everybody's just doing what we have to. We gotta go.
Just efficient.
Train's moving.
Yep. And also, then if one child grows out of the clothing, they can just go up into the next size.
you level up
it's
into
very
the next
efficient,
one.
actually.
Yeah, they're all the tracksuits were gender neutral.
Good.
So you could think about Oh yeah, that's true. Well, and you just got married
Yeah, I did in March.
in March.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Alex.
It's
you know
the
where
best.
you know where their bachelor party was?
Where?
At my show.
It was
Oh, Bachelorette.
Bachelorette.
Bachelorette party.
Okay, so this
Amazing.
is fun.
How did
so
that happen?
show.
Yeah.
It was excellent. So we came to your show at the Ryman,
Yeah.
and I was with my now husband, and then my producer Reagan and her husband. We had the best time.
That's a
It
good
was
time.
so
It was
fantastic.
a good time. We had them cooking in there. How did you get there? How did some combination of you getting there? Did I?
Yeah,
Did my
you-
team
yeah,
reach
you
out? Say
DM'd
come
me.
to the show.
Yeah.
Let's not say that I DM'd you. All right.
John Crist's team
I don't think I
sent
said,
requests.
I said you should
for
come
me
to the show.
No, so we came and it was fantastic. And then we saw like up on the screen, you were like showing all your other stops. And Reagan and I were laughing. We were like, oh, that's so funny. We're going to New Orleans for a bachelorette. And that's when you're going to be there. And I jokingly wrote in my like bridesmaid group chat, we should go see John Crist. Ha ha ha. And then.
Ha ha ha.
Why is that a joke?
But here's the thing. All of my bridesmaids were obsessed with you.
Oh, yeah. They want to come.
I know, exactly. Yeah. So they were like, oh my gosh, yes, we have to.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that was like a central, we like built our Saturday night around your show.
That was a great time.
It was fantastic.
Well, did you hear that they cleaned up New Orleans when Taylor came down there?
Oh, yeah.
Did you all cover that on the show?
I don't think we covered it. We've talked about the impact that she's had on other cities. But they.
Well, we went. And it was like, it's what I was going to say, because you guys shouldn't be walking around New Orleans.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it's not good.
No.
It's bad.
Yeah. Oh, well, trying to get away from your show, we got in our Uber. And first of all, we were standing on this corner of the street. Hoodlums everywhere.
Yeah.
Half naked people everywhere. Literally, it was like dark and it was kind of raining. We were just sitting there. So finally our Uber comes up. It is the jankiest van I've ever seen. So we all like 6 girls.
This didn't show up on the reel of the Bachelorette weekend. This part wasn't.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And we literally pull out of this corner, and within 100 feet, the van hits something, and we're stuck in the middle of this like 4-lane road.
Yeah.
And I think that the guy drove over a cone or hit some construction stuff. We all had to get out because it was too heavy. He couldn't keep driving, so we were standing out in the middle.
What was too heavy?
All of us. He's calling us all fat.
Who specifically? Yeah. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Hey, we got to lose like 120 pounds
Ozempic,
here.
please come. So we're all we're literally standing in the middle of this 4-lane road at like 11 p.m. in New Orleans as this Uber driver who does not speak in English is trying to yank the cone out. He doesn't pull the car forward. He's just yanking, and then it gets
stuck under there, and you all have to get out.
Yeah, so we just had to stand and watch, and he's like crawling under the car. People are whizzing by.
Help?
Yeah. Do you want my crown? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was our New Orleans experience.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad I like checked it off. Like that was a place that I feel like I needed to go.
You do have to see it.
And so I did it.
Well, that's that. You ever heard that take about how somebody says that why Americans don't travel? And they're like, we have everything here. No, it's like a very, you got Miami, you got Boston, you got Texas. And that is a very, what is that? Cajun? Where is that? French?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's French.
Yeah.
You have to see New Orleans, but then I think you're like, I think we got it.
Yeah.
But it's very, very dangerous. But we went down, me and my girlfriend went for Taylor Swift, and it was pristine. Pristine. It's
like when didn't Newsom clean up California?
I thought we were going to say about
Yep.
The
when
CCP
what's his name
rolls on in. Yeah, it was like we cleaned up.
It looks great, dude.
There's no problems whatsoever.
Which always goes back to so y'all can do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. My favorite was a couple of months ago. Newsom went down to California, or not down to California. He went down to Los Angeles and did a couple of photo ops of him like cleaning up the streets. And he was like, I have to come and take it upon myself to do this.
I saw that.
Angeles hasn't done that. I was like, dude, it's your state.
Dude, you do it.
That's the job.
Yeah, that's when he was like vying to get the nomination, hoping that Biden would be kicked out.
That takes me back to when I was on like a Christian on mission trips. You know what I'm saying? They're like, I'm cleaning up. And they're like, get this snapshot, send it back to the church, tell them we need more money. Yeah.
Send more 12-year-olds.
Send more 12-year-olds down here to save us.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of your set is doing the doorknob part when you talk about the mission trips.
About going down to Honduras. Yeah. Well, this is what I was going to want to ask you, because the comment section is just a monster. It's huge. It is. What do you think? What do you have? 4.7 million, something like that?
I think we're almost at 4.5. Oh, producer.
4.5.
I just actually looked today. I think it's 4.47. We're very close.
And we're not like obsessed with like how many people like follow us. We don't even look like
I don't even know.
At it. What is it? I don't even know. Well, what do you think? Because this podcast has been very, obviously my socials have been very, been growing for years, and this podcast as well. What do you think that people that are listening to you, that have found you, what do you think these people are looking for that they haven't found elsewhere? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that the main thing that I've heard directly from you, I can say what I've heard from people and what my purpose was in starting the show, because I kind of saw a need.
When did you start it?
We started it February of 2022. Yeah.
It's wild, dude.
Yeah.
That is a monster, bro.
It's crazy. We had
that is a monster.
1 million subscribers in 5 months. It literally took off like a rocket. My life changed overnight.
Yeah.
It like immediately felt so much, responsibility. I mean,
in 2022, I guess that's when I heard of you. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. And obviously I'm so honored. I think I dealt in that first year with a lot of imposter syndrome because I was like, why me? But I think the reason why it worked was because we're blending current events and politics and cultural news that people care about. So the things that they're seeing on social media, the TikTok trends, with humor and very normal common sense. Like my takes are, I feel like, very normal. Like they're very, well, I mean, maybe not in this society. Yeah, well, actually, after this election, I think we are in the majority.
My takes are normal, guys.
They're very normal guys. But it's just somebody that is speaking common sense that's not going to bend a knee or be overly sensitive. I think that the humor aspect is a big part of it. And that's what I felt like was missing in my content consumption, especially as a young woman, because I would listen to Ben, I would listen to Matt and Michael. They were very instrumental in my kind of, I don't want to say political awakening.
Michael Knowles was instrumental in your growth.
I love Michael Knowles.
Oh, he's the man.
He is fantastic. But I was obsessed with his podcast, and I would watch Ben's debates. Like when during 2020, I would basically just binge him debating people on abortion and gender ideology. Sure. And while it was incredibly meaningful and they were very instrumental in me being able to articulate my beliefs, I never saw myself in them because they're all, 35, 40-year-old men. And I was like, okay, that's not me. And I loved watching YouTubers like Emma Chamberlain, and I was into that whole world. And I was like, why is there nobody that is just like a normal American girl that shares my values, that I don't feel like I have to, I always felt like I was having to do a lot of work to find substance, or I would watch somebody's vlogs or their commentary and be like, okay, I know I don't agree with that, so we just kind of like ignore that and find somebody who does. And so in creating Comment Section, I wanted to create something that I, as like an 18-year-old girl, was craving and wanted. I wanted somebody that felt like a friend, that was covering stories that I was interested in, was being faced with on a daily basis, whether that was on my college campus or on my social media, and was telling me those stories in a way that was palatable, that could give me skills that I could then go and share those with my friends, that gave me empowerment and encouragement to stand just like strong in my values. So that was my purpose in creating it. And I'm very grateful, and it's validating to know that I think a lot of people were missing that too. Yeah. So it just took off like a rocket.
If someone, and maybe especially a girl or they'd be in college or something, that Ben Shapiro or even like CNN would be like, too big or too like who's, and you're like, in essence, you're going, hey, I feel like there's a lot of comics that I tour with that I'm this brand of whatever you call me, I guess, where I'm a Christian, I'm a man of faith, but I still kind of make fun of it a little bit. I'm inside it, but there's a lot of people that are my age that are like, all right, we're a follower of Jesus, we're trying to be more like Christ, but all this, my parents' church fighting about the color carpet, that's insane. But we also drink and we also watch Netflix, and I have found them. And we're just going to rock together. And I talk a lot about a lot of comics that are like, they're great. You just got to find the audience. The audience has to find you. And the same with the pod, I think, a lot of ways. So you're, in essence, a voice to a whole generation of people that are like, thank you.
Where it's like, the whole world is insane, and for so many years, and again, like
that does help.
It does help. And I felt that insanity, and I was in college during COVID. I was going into college when Trump was elected the first time, and it was just,
what a timeline.
It was crazy. I mean, it was literally,
you're starting college when Trump got elected in 2020. I
think I just graduated high school. I was like going into my senior year
in 2016. 2016. Okay.
And so my entire like second half of my, teen years, young adult life has just been consumed with this vitriol and division and anger and political literal insanity. And so not having any kind of normal, balanced. It was just, I think, again, it goes back to the humor because everything was so intense. It was like the
every
right
comic
was so
just
angry.
went through the roof.
Exactly.
Because they were like, what?
Yeah. The left was like, everything has to be so politically, correct. You can't take a step out. The right, obviously, was like fighting for their existence and all. And it was just so serious. And you had all of these, serious right-wing political commentators. And I was just like, I can't.
And none of
this was me.
Nobody really was, I guess, I guess at the time, like, there was nobody that was funny.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the podcasters now that you would call maybe on the right, but they were never political. Like the Theo and the Rogan, those guys were funny, but there was nobody.
They weren't dipping their toe into this
world,
not
at the time.
There was no crossover. Now it feels like there is. It's really exciting. I mean, and that goes to show with like all the podcasts that Trump went on over the last 3 months. I mean, that world didn't exist 4 years
Definitely
ago.
not in 2016.
Yeah.
Well, I remember watching on CNN on Wednesday morning, they were like, that the flaw of the Harris campaign was that they like overlooked all these like niche markets of this podcast. I'm like, these are not niche.
No.
These podcasts are huge.
Yeah.
And they were kind of created out of
necessity.
That era where everybody was being canceled, like in that whole era.
That's really the coolest part, is that the left created cancel
Wow.
culture. They're like, we're going to silence you, and they actually ended up creating this entire market of dissenting voices and people who created totally new audiences. And the audiences are there because people have been so fed up, they're exhausted. They're like, I'm tired of trying to like fit into your perfect left wing. Everything has to be politically correct.
And people go, because it was always. I lived in LA in 2016, and you couldn't find a Trump sign anywhere.
Glendale.
The
Armenians. That's where I lived. They were riding with Trump from the beginning.
That's where I sell out shows. I go to LA, they're like, dude, why can't I sell any tickets here?
Yeah.
Go to Long Beach, packed, dude.
Orange County, Glendale, all of it. A little bit of Burbank.
Oh, you know who came to my Long Beach show? Date Right Stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he came out to the Long Beach show. Too. I'll show you his stuff later, dude.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah. It was like all these pods that like me and Alex started this podcast probably 2.5 years ago after Theo had an episode of his podcast taken down.
Yep. Was that the Peloton?
No, it was before. It was Roseanne.
Okay. Oh,
or maybe it was it then?
I don't remember.
He's had a couple
you go,
of them.
I don't. There's such. I feel like similar to the comment section. It's like there's a generation of people growing up, and there's no voices over here.
Yeah.
It's all these, and all information is all we have.
Yep.
So if you grow up and you believe that you should, this is extreme, but like you can identify as an animal.
Yeah.
Like you're a kid. You that's what. Like I was taught if I kissed a girl, I was going to hell.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I legitimately thought that because my parents told me that. So, and then it turned out that wasn't true, but.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Who knows, John?
TBD.
We don't know yet. Yeah, jury's still out.
Too early to tell. Too early to call it. But yeah, I go. I would like to contribute my voice to this because everybody's just like, you would see so much information is just not correct.
Yep.
It's just incorrect information, and you go, gosh, I had to unlearn a lot of things in my 30s and 40s about what I learned as a kid. I was like, I would like to add my voice to this.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how this whole thing started, and probably you the same.
Yeah.
When you started comment section, was there like 0 to 1 million in 5 months is absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
Was there a immediate spark, or was it like there were different versions of the show as it kind of figured out where like your foundation was?
It was pretty. The show has remained pretty constant since the beginning. Like we didn't change up the style or anything like that. I had a
Reagan, but
now I did a pilot that I made myself.
Pilot podcast.
I
didn't even know that existed.
I created it. Well, I came from the acting world, so I was like, I'll film a pilot. But it was me in my like college apartment.
Yeah, all right.
And it was me sitting at a desk with my leg up, and I like in iMovie like added all these memes and these funny things and these sound effects, and I shopped it around to different like conservative nonprofits that I was working with, and I kept getting no's, and they were like, we don't really get it. Again, because it was totally not what people on the right were doing. So I had 4 like
nobody was doing that. Nobody would have any context for to do that.
For what
they
that
go, what
was.
department is this
It
in?
made total sense in my brain because I was like, this is what I watch. This is like, it keeps, the information coming fast. It keeps Gen Z's attention because we literally cannot focus on anything. Right. So it made sense to me as a person that I wanted to create that content for, because I was kind of my own demographic. So I had the idea for a while. It has stayed basically constant since then, which is really, really cool. If you go back and you watch that
Just got a nicer
episode.
Set. You got a nicer set.
Got a nicer set. I got a lot more confident. I got more articulate.
I got more confident.
I got bolder. I go back and watch that. I was like, man, it was really nice. I'm not as like nice anymore. I like roast them all the time. So the style of the show remained constant. We didn't really experiment too much. We just really leaned in, and it just started taking off. It was probably like a month in that we really started seeing it skyrocket.
Like what kind of, do you remember what takes at the beginning that were like hot?
I don't remember. I mean, my first episode out of the gate.
In what year is this?
2022. I did, my first episode was Biden's State of the Union, and I just reacted to his best moments, which was a great way to start.
Good starting.
Too many gaps.
Yep.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Yep.
And
we're in.
Yep. And we're off.
And I remember I did a couple of, this wasn't even the intention of the show, but I started leading into TikTok and kind of piecing together stories through TikTok of like watching trends take off, watching, using that as kind of my episode fodder of being like, okay, what are people talking about? What am I seeing repeatedly? How can I weave that together into a story? So it was almost like internet analysis in a way.
Oh, sure.
And people loved it because it was offering like more substantive ideas about what they were seeing online. It was kind of like offering clarity into this madness. What does it mean? Like, why are people making these insane videos? Why are these takes happening? Where do they come from? So I think that brought in a new audience that wasn't like, I'm looking for right-wing content, but that was just looking for, again, normalcy, like common sense, and humor. And so I think that helped bring in a new audience. We made a lot of shorts. We really leaned into different social media platforms. We were hitting people. My face was everywhere on your phone.
There was a lot of Brett Cooper. I do remember that. We were like, who is this? And then
everywhere.
Well, we talked about, we do a little bit of the same in here. Like and I think you probably discussed it because I wanted to ask you, when you were talking about that, I thought about the trad wife. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you on, because I know you're into the farming lifestyle. Yeah. You live way outside of town. Mm-hmm. Do women want to work or not?
I don't think they do. But here's the thing. Women, I don't think women want to work in the corporate world. That's the thing. There's a difference. I don't think women want to be in a cubicle, pushing pencils. Okay. Clicking on clack, clack, clack.
Who does? Nobody wants that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't even
want that. And so
I
think women are, this whole trad wife movement, I think that it's kind of been dominated by something that's driven more by aesthetics than actual values, because people see like the like frolicking in the fields.
Same. We've had the same take.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Where obviously I love that. My life dream has been to have a farm. I like grew up around farms, been a horse girl my whole life. My mom has a farm. That's what she does. And she does dairy and sheep. And so I've been around that forever, but it definitely is not what it's portrayed as it is online. So I think a lot of women see that, and that like sparks this emotional reaction of, I could have something that is that grounded, that is that fueled by nature, where I'm not sitting inside a fluorescent building, pretending like I'm the whole thing is just ridiculous, because they're like, I'm smashing the patriarchy. I'm not going to get married. I'm not going to have kids. I'm going to work for some male CEO at a Fortune, 500 company and click clack on my keyboard. And that's like sticking it to the man. That's empowerment. And I think that they see creators who are offering, these trad wives, whether or not they actually are trad wives, because they're making money on Instagram. So they're not actually like,
we don't know. The Instagram idea of a trad wife is different
than what they actually
my mom was a trad wife, and she's
offline.
Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They are not online.
Making oatmeal for your kids in like a $400 dress that you bought. That's not it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Instagram trad wife.
Exactly. Yeah. But that serves a purpose, because it's showing women that there is another option. And again, I think it's more of like an emotional, like, oh, I want to be like cooking amazing meals for my kids. And it's showing that, whether you want to say that it's homesteading or homemaking or whatever it is a valuable use of your time. Because I think for so many young women, especially like in my generation and millennials, I remember having a conversation with my best friend in high school who was an actress. We were walking down the street in Burbank. We were on a walk. And she
Also
was
not
talking
safe.
about not anymore. It was
used to
well,
be.
the Armenian gangs came back.
Okay.
Literally, it was like
I don't know. You would know.
I do.
trust you.
There were the week that we left LA. There were 2 stabbings on our street in Burbank, in like nice suburban Burbank, and then in the 3 months prior to that, there were like 4 shootings.
Yeah,
it was just crazy. That was in 2020. But I was on this walk with her, and she was talking about how she never wanted to have kids, how kids were such a burden on a woman's life and her career. And I didn't even think anything of it. I think I was 15 at the time. And I was like, well, that's the thing that I want most in the world. Yeah. And she was like...
She wanted to be unburdened.
She wanted to be unburdened by what her mother had been. Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. There it is. Unburdened by my mother.
Exactly. Whereas my mother is just my hero and she's fantastic. Yeah. But I was so inspired by my mother's dedication and seeing how she poured into us, where it was the most fulfilling part of her life. She took being a mother as a full-time job. It was not I'm going to drop you off at daycare and go, I'm going to do some yoga and Pilates and get a green juice. It was, I am going to, she was a full-time
So was my mom.
Yeah.
Still is, by the way.
Which is so is. Oh, yeah. That never stops.
No.
And so that's just what I know and what I've always wanted because I grew up seeing how meaningful that is and benefiting from it. And so it was just, obviously I was going to say that. And you would have thought I said that I wanted to kill somebody. She stopped. And she went, you would give up your career? And I was like, we're 15-year-old child actors. Like, what career am I? Like, we're auditioning. We're doing, episodic roles on Disney Channel.
Hey, don't talk yourself down. Okay,
but it was this is what you're... That's what's meaningful? Yeah. Anyway, so I think that because that was the tone for so long, that's just what was understood and what was acceptable, that this kind of content that's very aesthetically driven, it just turns something on in women. So I think that's why so many... women are making videos like, why did feminists make us work? Why did we do this? Susan B. Anthony.
I think we talked about here about how women are going to go be school teachers and accountants and house cleaners and all these type of things. That are like, but someone lied to you. You can do all these things
of that
for the not for a paycheck, possibly the greatest ROI.
Yeah.
It's like starting your own business. And then you do all those activities for your family.
I also think something that's interesting is that these trad aesthetic people, the trad accounts, they often talk about the 1950s and the 1950s housewife. That's a very small blip in history because women have always worked. They just didn't work in the corporate world in the sense that we do now. Women worked in the family business. They worked on farms. They saw being a mother as working. They would sew. They would cook. That was all part of it. They would bring baked goods to market, or they would be basket weaving.
If you have all the guys working in the field and the women are making meals so they can... That's
if they're taking the crop and turning it into the product.
That is the business.
That's the business. And so it's a very small blip in time when women were quote unquote not working in the 1950s and just pulling turkeys out of their beautiful 1950s oven. And so I think a lot of people idolize that when really it's just a different kind of work that women are driven to do.
And I think no disrespect to anyone who wants to work in you should have the option.
Yeah, you should, exactly.
All the TikToks I see are like, who made us... Now I got these degrees and I'm in this. Who decided this was a good idea?
Yeah, they tax us all to high heaven so that a 2-income household is almost required in this economy, so that it's almost impossible for women to stay home. Yeah. It's very difficult to homeschool your kids these days. Women feel like they need to work. Yeah. There's also the societal pressure. So if we can just get back to a place where it's you can just make a choice and be empowered and not be attacked as a woman.
Or if because comedy is my favorite in a way that you kind of don't have to argue because, and your show's the same. He's like, we kind of know, the truth, truth. We kind of when you can
say a lot by not saying
I'm not saying the left or whatever the movement is. That when you tell us that that's a woman, you're like, it's not though.
Yeah.
We don't have to really argue.
Yeah.
Or I guess we found ourselves arguing, but that's.
Yeah.
That's a dude. And I feel like...
I think that's why so many people left that. Yeah. Is because you can't just point out a common sense fact and be like, okay, no, it's not. You can say whatever you want. You can call yourself whatever you want. You can give yourself whatever name. Dress however you want.
Yeah. That's a dude.
But
Well, and that's what I feel like women have either been whispering or secretly I just want to have kids.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah.
Well, there was a study done about this earlier this year where the majority of women actually have more traditional beliefs. I actually think it was the Claire Booth Luce organization, which is funny. I was at their event on Friday night. I didn't realize that it was them that had done this study.
Yeah.
But they did a survey of women. The majority of women, overwhelmingly so, want to be moms, would love to be stay-at-home mothers, are interested in all that.
Not have to work.
Exactly, yeah.
Not have to have a job full time,
But then the last question of that survey was talking about how they feel like they're perceived and how they vote. And they said that they hide that. They don't want to call themselves, because of the female peer pressure, whatever. So they don't say that they're conservative. They don't say that they're traditional. They don't tell other women that they want to be moms because that has been so shamed for so long. So that's what's like needs to be broke open and changed.
That you at least should be proud of that. And that's unbelievable. But my mom had 8 kids.
It's amazing.
I mean, I know all of my siblings have like 2, and they've all come to appreciate my mom because they're like, how, dude? Yeah. I mean, every 3 meals a day, and everybody homeschooled too. Mm-hmm. Now,
like superhero.
That's what have you guys?
That's a restaurant. You're running a restaurant.
Literally 3 days. Yeah. What is everybody gonna have? Yeah. Have you guys discussed the? I don't even know what it's called. It's like the 4B movement.
Oh yeah, I actually talked about that today. That's insane.
Okay, explain what it is. Do you know what this is?
I don't know what this is.
Let me give you the backstory. So.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, sit down. Class is in session. So 4B movement stems from South Korea.
Okay.
So South Korea has a huge feminist problem. They are, running rampant. They also have the lowest birth rate in the world. They have a major, major problem, population decline. So the government is literally doing everything in their power to get people to procreate. They are giving people stipends. They're giving men stipends to take women out on dates.
Sending them to Broadway.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding.
Go on up, put on your cowboy hats, on your sparkle tits, go on down. But the government is doing everything they can to get people to date and marry. And it's become a big problem because there is a faction of women in South Korea who have joined this 4B movement. And it's no sex, no dating, no marriage, no children.
To go against the government.
To go against the government and men. To say, screw the patriarchy.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, there was this hysterical, I think it was an article in The Atlantic, and I covered it this summer, but they talked about what these women do for work because often they make this advocacy their full-time job. Yeah. So their fathers pay for them. So they go home, even though they're saying we hate men. Yeah, they go back and their fathers, pay for their food, do all that. Their moms make the meal, and they sit at the dinner table and they refuse to speak to their father, but their dad is paying for them to have like a house or food. Anyway, so it's very comical in that way. So that's the 4B movement in South Korea. Trump was elected. Women believe that all their rights are being taken away. Yeah. They're basically going to be handmaidens. They're all ordering their handmaidens outfits off of Amazon. They're going to oppress themselves. Yeah. And so they have adopted the American version of 4B movement. So they're saying we are not, it's so funny. They're like, we are not going to sleep with any man who doesn't respect us. And we're all like, okay.
You should have been doing that the whole time.
Right, I was like, that
great
literally,
idea.
That solves
I support you in that.
Thank you. I'm like, keep it up.
So you haven't been doing this?
Yeah.
New?
Yeah, exactly. And I saw another one, and this girl was saying, all right, girls, like, what form of birth control are you on? It's time to go on birth control. I'm like, okay, so you're literally admitting that you've been using abortion as a form of birth control because you aren't on birth control. Hilarious. And so they're doing all this stuff. So it's all common sense. That's why it's so ridiculous. They're like, we're abstaining. We're not going to sleep with somebody unless he respects us or is committed to us. We're getting on birth control. I'm like, great. Thank you.
How we've been trying to live the whole time.
Yeah,
so are we pro this? Is that what you're telling me?
Well,
are we
now
pro
I think we are. Yeah. So it's really I'm like, you're solving the problem because if you stop having casual sex, which 99% of abortion is used as a form of birth control. That is a fact. If you limit casual sex, you're limiting the need for. I mean, we're all winning. And you're helping yourself. This is healthier for you emotionally and physically. So anyway, that's what women are doing now.
It's like it's like one of those tweets that it's like, who's gonna tell her?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, you're actually helping us.
Well, I in a not comparable at all, but I'm just going to caveat not comparable at all, but kind of. At the Taylor Swift show. Wait.
I love this.
Wait. It was how many are people? 70,000 people in there.
Yeah.
Mostly women, and everybody scream about how men are not spoken well of.
F the patriarchy.
Yes, in general, around the whole night.
Yeah.
Outside, that you would write your ex who left you on the what was it? Worst, smallest man who'd ever lived.
Yep.
It was like, and I was like, I don't think I would ever say this publicly, but here I am saying it publicly. I go, this is very negative about men here. I feel like men might have bought all these tickets. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
the husband's like sent the dog. Like, it's fine.
Oh yeah,
y'all have a great time, but like I'm pretty sure we're funding this.
Yeah, well, literally, because I like Taylor Swift, and I'm not
So do
like a
I
major.
thought the show was awesome, dude.
Oh,
I thought
and
the show was
I am so sad that I didn't go because I feel like it's like a cultural moment
Yeah.
that I missed. And I did the whole Ticketmaster thing, and I never got access, whatever. And then I would go
talking about?
online
You're
to the
rich.
resale. What?
You're rich.
Okay, well, I'm not going to spend that money on that. I'm like, you have to prioritize where you spend your money.
Yeah, got to buy some cows.
Literally,
Yeah,
that's
I feel
where my
that.
money goes.
Yeah.
They're very expensive lawnmowers. But I was telling my husband this, and I was like, I'm really sad. He was like, I'll buy you a ticket. So I mean, it proves what I was like, I didn't get to go, and he was like, what? Where do you want to go?
Well, let's go. Where are we going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
48%
gonna
of
fund
Taylor Swift tickets are bought by men.
Is it
48%.
Wow.
purchased by men?
Purchased by men.
What do you mean? So the email account? How would they know that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think on
Studies
Ticketmaster, on like your account, you have to say, I think you're a man or a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Or something
So then my point is not valid then.
Well, I think you're
50-50.
close though.
Well, yeah.
You're close.
Are these biological men or
Easton, great point.
Easton.
where's the other? I need the other category.
Other category.
Maybe a lot of those women actually are men. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe.
Right, sure. Write the name of your ex on the girl's dress. It was just wild. It's wild to witness.
Yeah.
That was good. This week's episode brought to you by Rocket Money. Can you name every single subscription that you have? I know I can't name all of mine, and I'm not alone. I just learned that over 74% of people have subscriptions that they have forgotten about. With Rocket Money, I don't have to remember every subscription or worry about forgetting any because I see them all laid out right in front of you. Most Americans think they spend about $62 per month on subscriptions, but the real number is closer to $300. Ugh. Unbelievable. That's a big difference. Managing finances can feel complicated and time-consuming, right? It doesn't have to be. With Rocket Money, simplifies everything, make it so it's easy to see exactly what's happening with your finances, track your spending, and give you full control of it right from your phone. I had one that I pay for this racing app with the Dylan Bates, with the driver that we sponsor. Racing season's over. I got to be out of the app.
Nice.
Got to be out of the app.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have it until it starts again next March.
You gotta save
And
that money.
Yeah. Got to save that money. I'm out on the racing app, but I'm not out on Dylan. I'll be back. It was like iRacing. That's something where I go.
Dylan's like, hey, man, I got a piece of that.
Hey, bro. Yeah. You're driving in the car and he's like, dude, the race is like, where is it streaming? Oh, it's on. But that's everything. Oh, like Sanford's on ESPN like 8 and you got to get the subscription to that. You're like, dude, I'm not, or whatever it is. And then you go, why do I still have this?
Yep.
Oh
yeah.
Rocket Money, the personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Unbelievable. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions. That's unbelievable. Saving members up to $740 a year. And listen, we need it. With the tariffs.
We do.
I'm just kidding. When using all of the app's features, stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions. I have no idea what I'm talking about in that area, by the way. By going to rocketmoney.com/netpositive. That's rocketmoney.com/netpositive. rocketmoney.com/netpositive. Or hit the link in the episode description below. This week's episode brought to you by Gooder. Gooder, ladies and gentlemen, it makes $25 active sunglasses that don't slip, don't bounce, and are 100% polarized and make you look fresh. Put the camera on, Alex.
Look at these things.
Light
Don't
them
move.
up, dude.
They don't move.
Have
The
that man
headphones
looking
move.
fresh.
The glasses don't. They're not going anywhere.
Go outside. This is the guy you want to do business with.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
This guy's ice cold.
Just watch. You want to do a pod?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to do a pod?
I'm in.
Hey, you want to do a pod?
I'm in.
Everybody
Look at
said
this guy. This speaks with authority.
Because of these
glasses.
Take them off though. You want to do a pod?
Yeah,
No,
we'll see.
Not really.
We'll see. Lightweight, comfortable, 100% polarized, stylish, lots of colors to choose from, dude. I got the original. We got 3.
Yeah.
When we originally got the sponsorship, we got 3. I need to get back in there.
Yeah.
Because they got a lot more of them now.
You got to reload.
Yeah, I got to run it back. And you know what I'm not going to do?
What?
I'm not going to ask Gooder, can I get the free ones? Because I'll buy them.
Yeah.
I'll buy them.
Well, and with prices like these.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Not that big a deal.
Yeah,
you can handle that.
Tariffs on Gooder glasses.
No tariffs on Gooder.
No,
Gooder, tariff-free since 2024.
Like, that's not in the copy.
No.
30-day free returns, 100% satisfaction guarantee. Gooder is a 100% carbon neutral company, plus 1% for the planet. Like I said, 100% polarized, only $25. You don't want to be in my purse, wear my glasses, in my car, in my center console. You don't need to be doing all that with a $900 pair of glasses.
No.
Because, listen, it's not worth the ROI.
No.
Nobody, if you're riding a Lamborghini, that's cool.
Yeah.
If you're getting a nice pair of sunglasses, it's not worth it. You got a Rolex, that's worth it.
Sure.
In the sunglasses department,
right,
rock with Gooders.
Yes.
That's what you need, 100%. If you're free to support the show and pick up a pair of Gooders, if you want to support the show and pick up a pair, Gooder is giving Net Positive listeners free shipping on your first order. Awesome for Christmas, by the way.
Yeah.
Unbelievable Christmas gift.
Yep.
Hit them up with some Gooders.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a wrap, dude. If you can't go to Gooder, you can go. What? You can go to gooder.com/netpositive and use the code netpositive to get a free shipping. That's unbelievable. GOODR. Gooder.com/netpositive. 30-day money-back guarantee. 100% satisfaction. Find your pair. Use the code netpositive and get free shipping, or hit the link in the episode description below. I was going to ask you, is there any takes that, because I feel like what I like about Matt Walsh, and he came in here a couple weeks ago, is that sometimes I'm surprised by his side. I'm like, oh, like I don't like this. A lot of the commentators, like a lot of the pods you watch, and I especially look at, Tim Dillon or maybe even Theo. Theo doesn't get into social issues much, but Andrew Schultz, and you go, I like somebody that you watch it and you go, oh.
Yeah.
I didn't see him going that way versus like not the party lines. That's not what I mean. But it's like, is there any takes that you're like, oh, interesting, Brett went that way? Because I feel like we try to do that sometimes in here.
Oh, gosh. I feel like a lot of the takes that people are surprised by are about dating in men and women's relationships. Yeah. That's kind of the testy water that I get into.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's a lot of people, especially on the right, who are more of the mindset of like, okay, women, not that I'm saying that there's a lot, but it's kind of been a growing movement of, repeal the 19th, women don't vote, go back to the kitchen, whatever. And some of that is real and some of those are just trolls. But I've often been accused of being a feminist because I don't tell women that are 18 years old that you need to go get married. Oh, that actually is a big one. Yeah. So obviously I'm 23. I got married when I was 22. That's pretty young in our current society. I'm very happy. Best thing I've ever done. Love him to death. But I disagree with the idea that we just need to tell young people to just not even go to college, just like get out, get married fast, start having kids. Yeah. Because I think that the conversation lacks nuance. Not that it's a bad advice to give, but I think a lot of people on the right give it without any of that nuance. Sure. Without giving advice about how to find a good partner and how to have conversations about what your values are, about how you want to raise kids, about how you want to live your life. My mom always used to joke. She was like, I don't want you to date until you're 30. And it was not because she actually wanted me to wait. Yeah.
It's like no social media until college.
Yeah, exactly. It was homeschool for you.
Same.
I had my flip phone. But she had that idea, but it wasn't really about age. And when we would actually get into it, because I would be all pissed about it. Yeah. And she was like, it isn't about age. It's that you need to know yourself. And this isn't, and that's different than having, a house and the career that you want and having everything. Because I think that screws people up. Like, you should not be waiting to go find somebody until your life is perfect. Because I think one of the most beautiful things is meeting somebody where you are on the same page and you want to build a life together. And I think that makes it easier to find somebody who meshes in with your life. But not giving young people the tools to say, like, do you know yourself well enough to know what to look for in a partner? Do you know how to have those conversations about your value? Do you even know what you value?
And if that takes you till 30 or whenever that, you
But
figure
you
that
just
out for
have to
yourself.
know that.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
don't know
exactly.
yourself at 22 and you're getting married, that's probably a bad.
Yeah,
it's
and so
gonna
I
end
think
poorly.
that's a place that I've differed, and I've had people go like, wait, what do you mean? Like you
Yeah.
are engaged, you're about to get married, and I'm like, no, I'm not telling you not to get married. I think you should. I think it's fantastic, and it's the most beautiful thing ever.
Yeah.
But you have to know yourself, and you have to know the other person that you're marrying, and you have to be able to answer those questions. And I just think that there's a lack of nuance there. But that isn't even like something that's too crazy. But when I talk about dating, I'll often get people that are pissed off.
Well, we talk about in here sometimes that the shots are coming from your own side.
Oh, yeah.
This weekend I did this joke about the border. I was like, listen, if you want to come across this border and contribute to this country and do it legally, we love you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And there's like some people on the right on Twitter that were like, I can't believe. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm with y'all like 99%.
Yeah.
If that makes me like,
Yep.
like
And what you're
sometimes
saying
Christians
is so
are
healthy. You need to be able to criticize your own side. I think that's one of the left's big pitfalls and why so many people have walked away is because you can't criticize them. If you criticize them, that's stepping out of line and you get ostracized, you get tarred and feathered. And I think the right is
to say anything.
Exactly. And the right is a lot better about that, but still in some factions you get into like testy waters where it's like, okay, no,
I would say
we're not perfect.
Most everybody our age would be like, if Trump does something wild, we'd be like, yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, and
you know
you
what I'm
can say
saying?
that.
We'd be like, yeah, we're not like, we're not like, if you.
You shouldn't glorify a government. You shouldn't glorify a politician.
Yeah.
Like,
versus
I love
like you
Trump,
can't step out.
Exactly.
Yeah. That you should be allowed to step out when you need to.
Yeah.
Or if you, this is what at my shows that you, but some people, if you're that insecure, I think about your side, that like if you ask somebody I remember having a conversation, I was like, what, someone on the far right, I was like, what do you think Obama did right? One thing. Like if you can't even say he was like loyal to his wife or like a good dad or like a strong, if you can't name one thing, then we can't.
Yeah, you have to be able to have some kind
something.
of,
The other side is and
I did see a lot of positive movement on this on the right just for this election, which I think spoke volumes to people on the left, where it's like a lot of conservatives obviously are pro-life. Trump is not 100% pro-life. That pissed a lot of people off, obviously, but we still voted for him.
Yeah.
And we're able to say, okay, I might disagree with you on this, but I'm not saying that you're a completely flawed human being, that you don't deserve my vote because of that. It's like, I think that just in general, we're a bit more nuanced. We're able to.
Plus, God chose him.
Is that what your mom posted on Facebook?
I'm joking. Hey. Wow.
Technically.
Well,
that's what you saw on Facebook.
Yeah.
Have you seen the memes where it was after you survived the assassination attempt and it was Jesus on top of Trump? Like, I saved him.
You're like, y'all are joking, right? You're joking, but there's some people aren't. That's what. Yeah. And you know who my
Facebook's a crazy place. Dude.
Yeah.
I had to go on Twitter to help my mother-in-law with something because she called me all in like a tizzy after that. She was like, I need you to Photoshop.
How do you screenshot a meme?
She was like, I need to Photoshop Donald Trump onto Megatron, some kind of like superhero guy. And she was like,
a
I'm
perfect
trying
mother-in-law
to
thing to
Yeah, exactly.
ask.
And so she had asked like the girl in her office. That didn't work. She asked all the kids, and she was like, Brett, you're online. How do I do this? I was like, I was like, do you think I make my own thumbnails? I don't know how to do this. So anyway,
I don't know how to do
I
this.
posted it on Twitter, and I was like, who
That's
can help me do
hilarious.
this? And she was so excited. She made an X account just so she could go and personally thank everybody.
Oh,
and so she put that on her Facebook.
And she types like this.
Yeah.
That's crazy. She types one key at a time. Speaking of people not online, my people that carried this election.
The Amish?
Yes.
I wanted to talk to you about that today. All right,
Dude,
okay.
Everybody's been sending me that constantly.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
So are you from Pennsylvania originally?
My family, so my dad is from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Which is the Amish country.
Reagan is from Lancaster.
Really?
Yeah.
Did we discuss this? Oh, yeah. All right.
So
yeah.
I didn't know anything really about Pennsylvania or the Amish before Reagan came on my team. Now I feel like I'm well acquainted.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so I wanted
I was going to say she's left the Amish, but the Amish, look at her appearance. They've left her. It's a lot of eyeshadow. Those heels are way too tall. So, yeah.
Okay, so I have to know. So do you have people in your family now that are Amish?
Okay, so I'm
so interested.
My parents, so my great-grandmother was Amish.
Okay.
My parents, so that one step one step, I guess, a little bit more easiest way to describe it, like Amish with a television are Mennonites.
Yes.
So Mennonites, they don't, the physical practice, like they can have a tractor, but all the other stuff, like they're conscientious objectors, like they don't believe in, I'm going to mess this up. People are going to be online and going nuts about it. They don't believe in like modern medicine, a lot, everything. They try to not participate in the government in terms of 401k and Social Security, like the family unit. And the
they're
community
digging the cash into the
is
backyard.
The retirement community. There is we're just staying here. So my parents,
which is something I think that modern America could probably learn a little bit about.
But actually, that you're gonna have a bunch of kids on the farm, and then that's gonna be your retirement, and the YouTube. That'll be it too.
Nice. So did you have Mennonites in your family?
So, well, my parents are met at Mennonite College.
Oh,
my parents are Mennonite. So
nice. Okay.
My parents. Easiest way to describe it for everybody, left the Mennonite church to be what would be called maybe like Pentecostal.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like, I feel like it's just one generation lighter and lighter until they probably think I'm an atheist. But
okay.
No. But they've all my family, we go to Pinecraft, which is in Sarasota, Florida, which is like Amish Las Vegas. We go there for Christmas every year.
Is that where there's that show Escaping the Amish and they all go to Florida?
Yeah. That's exactly where it is. And then they can't, so the Amish people, they can't drive, but they can ride in a bus. So they all bus down to.
That's how they got to the election too.
Yeah, they all
Scott
bus.
Pressler was organizing. I love him.
Yeah.
He was organizing caravans.
I saw
pick them all up. Yeah.
And then it's so
sick.
they can go. They don't. I don't want to speak on behalf of them, but they're probably not watching this podcast if they're Amish. So
they're not going to have access.
Yeah, they're not. But they can't. They don't like. They can't pose for a photo with you, but they can be photographed. You know, they don't want to acknowledge the technology and stuff. And down in all the Amish community is under the, I was going to say rule, but it's not rule of like the local bishop.
Okay.
So like whatever church you are a part of, and the more like conservative ones are up there in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, down.
There's a little bit of an Amish community here in
a little
Tennessee.
bit north. Yeah.
Yep.
Down in Sarasota, like they'll let you have a battery powered bike.
Ooh.
They're like, hey, bro, like the bishop down there is a little bit more like
chill.
Yeah.
Beach vibes.
I mean, obviously you can't go as far as looking like Reagan looks, but you can, but they were like, she's clearly not on the team. But I always say, like I had a conversation with my sister-in-law. We were down there because we vacation and they were like, she goes, don't they see me with like a cell phone and like, you know, makeup and want to be, I go, we're depressed. Like this isn't the better way. Yeah. Like maybe they have it figured out.
We are sicker.
Why do they think we have it better off?
They probably think we're crazy.
They go, we don't want any of that. Now they have a problem. Some of the younger generation is like, if we don't loosen up these rules, we're going to lose everybody. So like Did you see the whole conspiracy with I don't remember if it was an Amish or a Mennonite girl, but she made a secret TikTok. Yeah, the bishop found out, and then she like disappeared. They disappeared, and then people went and conspiracy.
Like
she's there.
Found her. Yeah, she's there. She just offered. And so then they were like, we have to go save her something. They went looking for her, and then there were all these other people, like some other Mennonite and Amish, like secretly got accounts. And it all looked like they were filming these on like potatoes. It was like for sure not like the newest iPhone or anything.
Potatoes.
And they were like, we saw her at church. She's still alive. And it was like a whole, but people were free. It was millions and millions of views because she had decided to make this. She was doing little dances. She never shared her information.
You should get her on the pod. You should get her on the show. You don't have guests, do you?
Not usually.
Yeah,
it's pretty rare.
We would make an exception if that girl wanted to come on the pod.
Oh, for sure.
We'd have her for sure.
Well, I've wanted to go do some kind of like Amish thing just because of Reagan's connection.
Very offensive to our culture. You want to do what to our? What do you want to do, Brett? You want to come in and exploit us? What do you want to do?
I want to.
You want to live like one of us for an afternoon?
I want to celebrate.
I'm just kidding. I'm not one of them.
Celebrate you. I want you to tell me how you're so healthy. What vaccines I shouldn't be taking?
They're all yelling, John, we don't accept you. Like, oh.
Do you do shows up there?
Yeah, dude. We
do they love you?
Yeah, we did Shippensburg, Indiana. We had like a residency. We do Shippensburg.
They all cart and buggy in to see you.
This is a lasso. That's not. They're not whipping the horse. This. They're sitting in the buggy. No, we did a Shippensburg, Indiana. They are a town of 670 people, and we sold 7,000 tickets.
How did they find out who you were if they don't have
They'd
phones?
be coming in from outside, bro.
It's ticket fraud.
It's like
That's what that is.
Yeah,
They're bussing people in.
They don't have to choose their gender when purchasing those tickets.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like the Amish Underground Railroad or something. They're passing my, and that's a bad example of that. But yeah, they're passing my videos around. Have you seen this guy? Dude? Yeah.
Yeah, they're bootleg DVDs.
Yeah. That's what they do in Cuba. I vacationed in Cuba like 3 years ago, which was wild. Which is why it was like when Trump
exploiting their culture too.
Yep, there I am. Not 3 years ago.
Here to make content.
5 years ago or something. Yeah. But my aunt and uncle and my cousin wanted to go when I think Trump had opened it up, and you could go in support of the Cuban people. So you could not give any money to the government. And it was fascinating. And they had little hard drives. And they would be like, our guides would be asking us, like, have you heard the new Justin Bieber song? And it was like a song that came out like 8 years ago. But she was like, I just got it on my flash drive. But they like pass it around.
Oh, that's sick.
Because they're not able to get
media.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can get in trouble for that?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, it's like scary stuff. And your internet doesn't really work there. So I was totally disconnected for the 2.5 weeks that I was there. Couldn't use phone. I had my Kindle.
Oh, it doesn't work. Phone doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
You can go and there's like little like internet stands. So you can go. And so my aunt and uncle I just left my phone in the States because I was like, I'm not going to be able to use it. So I brought a digital camera. Didn't text anybody. Couldn't do anything. Was totally disconnected. But that's how I mean, it was crazy. It was probably the most radicalizing thing as like a young American. Yeah.
Can you imagine being in prison? Like, what are you in here for? And you're like, one less lonely girl. You're like, what? No. You had to go to prison. You're like, dude, murder? Yeah. Tax fraud. What are you in here? Purpose.
Yeah.
Believing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Watch the documentary.
Is that a crime? Actually, it is. Is that a crime? Yeah, unfortunately.
If you can get your version of Snow White down there quickly, then you might be the original Snow White.
I might be. Yeah, they might not have gotten to them yet. Yeah, exactly.
Can you talk about how that's been going?
I don't really have any updates about it. Yeah, we're really still focusing on Pendragon, which is going to be the craziest thing the Daily Wire has ever done. So they're trying to crank that out. But
when did that one come out?
Hasn't come out yet.
Hasn't.
We
we just saw you. I think
it was when I had just
behind the
gotten
scenes
back.
Stuff. You filmed it. I remember watching the coverage of you filming it.
Yeah, so we were lived in Budapest for like 5 months last year. This time last year was there. It was crazy. It was like the real deal. It's so cool. And it was really fun like dipping back into acting like 4 years later, and working on something that was so huge.
You're like, oh, I've kind of like been a part of this life.
I've just done it before. Yeah. But it was really, it's a fantastic story. It was a cool experience of being able to go back and do something that I love while simultaneously working with people that I like trust and respect, because I was always walking on eggshells in Hollywood, and not just in terms of politics, but there were so many projects that I would be involved in or things that I'd be auditioning for, and I'd read the script and I'm just like, why are you putting this out in the world? It's just trash.
I'm not.
And so being part of something where it's like, I totally believe in this, mission of why we're making it. I believe in the script. The people are so talented. It was just like it's pretty cool. It's a behemoth though. It's crazy. It's going to look so sick, but that's been consuming all time and money.
When is it coming out?
I don't know yet.
Oh, you don't know yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. Well,
too many VFX.
Wouldn't it be that, like, I don't even want to use the word like female empowerment, but is that? I mean,
definitely don't use that word, dude.
No, in terms of, I feel like that's
not
a negative
Trump's
connotation.
America, John. That's outlawed.
Get out of here. Yeah, it has a negative connotation. I feel like, at least in some circles that we run in. But I think what you have done is that.
It sucks that female empowerment has become synonymous with.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, with like fifth, fourth wave feminism, whatever it is, because it is super cool, and it's.
But that seems like to be like fraudulent female empowerment. That like to for somebody that you're like, well, I have my own things to say. Yeah. That I want to say them. I created. Yeah. Me being you. Mm-hmm. I created a YouTube. Well, I speak directly to them. Yeah. And these people that want to, I have a product that they like. Yeah. I'm financially independent. That is what it is. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I think a lot of
it's been misconstrued, because that is something that 50, 100 years ago, women were craving. That's what they desperately wanted. They just wanted to be able to earn their own money, be able to go out and work, create something of their own, volition. And it's so incredible that we can do that. It's so incredible that Title IX exists so that women can go compete in sports, and everything that's happening now with, I don't even know if we're in fifth wave feminism, whatever it is. It's so confusing and so backwards. We're taking so many steps back, especially with Biden trying to just destroy Title IX and men and women's sports. It makes no sense in what they deem female empowerment, which is men taking up women's spaces and killing your children because you want to have casual sex. It's like, okay. Like these, and that's also the first world problems. I was like, do you not realize how free you are? That's like wild. The fact that you can get online and make TikToks, shave your head for the world to see and be like, oh, I'm like, I am now going to not have men. I'm going to sleep with men.
These TikToks we have not seen.
Oh, dude. Well, that's the next part of the 4B because they had to make, that's what I said on the show today. They had to make their own 4B movement like unique and special. So they've now started shaving their heads, which is so twisted because they're shaving their heads so that they look unattractive for men. And so now you have all of these women who are going through chemo. Yes.
You're going to make me say some things that that's wild.
Well, it's just insane. So you have these women coming on who are like, so you're saying that because I've lost my hair due to chemotherapy, because I have alopecia, that I'm unattractive to men. And it's a whole thing. That's why it's so absurd.
We
weren't actually being offensive. Yeah.
That's what I feel like a lot of the left kind of drove the Harris campaign into the ground by being like, wait, what? Hold on, what? And then it would all just turn on itself. Yeah.
Did you expect the election results we got? A lot of people, I think, did not. Some people, I think, did. You expected it? Yeah.
Because I wasn't even following the polls too much. But it was
TikTok.
I was following TikTok. No, but it was the cultural energy. Mm-hmm. It was so... There were so many young people that were so amped up, so excited. The fact that I'm walking around Nashville, which is a really blue city, and I'm seeing Trump hats everywhere, that businesses are putting out Trump flags at their storefront, that you're seeing these photos of people in LA walking around in MAGA hats. Like, the tone has just shifted. And I would see videos online of people, like my favorite one was this girl, I think she was like a vegan astrologist. And she was like, I went to a Trump rally. And it was the greatest. She was like, it was so unifying. They were so kind to me. And it had millions of views. And everyone in the comments was like, thank you for saying this. I'm going to go check it out. There was no hatred. There was no, you are a traitor. It was, this is exactly how I've been feeling. I think RFK Jr. coming over and joining his campaign was huge. And I think his endorsement made people feel, very secure. I think JD Vance did incredible.
We talked about him. We were close to getting him on the pod.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. He's so normal and so well spoken. I just think things had really tonally had changed. So because of that alone, I felt very confident in it because especially after the multiple assassination attempts, I mean, it was just like fired up.
I feel like, it's such a landslide of victory. And I think I talked to one of my comedian buddies about this week. And I would imagine you feel the same, but I'll let you speak for yourself. Sometimes I make a lot of, we have a lot of takes on the pod, but especially my sketch videos. Let's say where I see something in the culture and I go, I'm going to make a video about this, making fun of it or making light of it. You make a video and you're like, I'm pretty sure everybody feels this way, and then you make it and everybody goes, thank you.
Yes.
And you go, oh, because sometimes I miss.
Yep.
And maybe it's the algorithm, but maybe it's like, I thought everybody felt like this, but they didn't. How I feel about the election is I feel like we all been looking around and going, and then the vote overwhelmingly for Trump affirmed that I was like, okay, I wasn't with the ideology and the social issues, and you're like, okay,
we're all on the same page.
Most of us, and it was a landslide. But sometimes you make a video, and I was like, it doesn't hit, and you go, really?
Yeah.
I thought, and the commentary that you have, is like, it made me
similar.
Feel very. You're like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I've been like, what, like the stuff people say online is like, this is not accurate, and it's like you're like gaslighting people, and that is a dude. Yep. And it was that.
And I also think obviously the economy was a huge issue, but I'm seeing a lot of people say like, I can't believe that you voted for grocery prices over my right to have an abortion. It's like, obviously they did. It's like people can't afford to live.
They must have.
I was like, they can't feed their kids. They can't fill up their tanks. And there's a problem that impacts so few of you, really. Yeah. And so obviously it's just like, that was affirming in a way of so many people being like, yeah, of course we voted for grocery prices because we want to be able to buy a home.
And you want to be able to go to work and be able to make it to vacation in Charleston for 2 weeks a year. You want to be able to do it. And if you can't, all the other social stuff doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't.
Well, if you think about the hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
Like the base need is food and shelter.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is how people are going to vote. And if you think otherwise, then you just don't understand human nature. Then you truly are living in it really is a narcissistic bubble of problems that you've created because you want to feel important. Because you want to feel like you have issues that you're fighting for, which just shows you that your life is actually pretty great.
Yeah.
You live in a great free country where you can moan about things online.
That's so funny. And I feel like I'm going to talk about this Taylor Swift concert for forever. But I was in
cultural impact.
I was in
T-Swizzle.
I go, you realize we're in section 112? Hey, I just wanted to be like, hey, time out. Everybody, we're doing great.
Yeah.
This is a $3,500 ticket.
Yeah.
You're here. Mm-hmm. You're doing great.
You've got your custom-made Taylor Swift outfits.
And you're also 14. What boy you're doing? I just would be like, hey, everybody that's like seems to be somehow oppressed here.
Yeah.
You're killing it.
Yeah.
Whatever you're in
your bodysuits, no pants on.
You're living the dream, dude. You're crushing it.
Exactly.
And I think everybody wanted to, like, you see a lot of people that have that, whether it's destructive, whether it's like addiction, I feel like drugs, alcohol, depression, or violence, or whatever it is to go, man, these people, like, I wouldn't rob a gas station because I know that if I did that I'm going to go to jail, and those things are going to affect my ability to get employment, and you know what I'm saying? It's going to, but if you like, the whole thing kind of is based on everyone's journey. But if you've given up with getting there, you go, why not rob someone? And then I have no hope.
Yeah.
I have no reason to, outside of a relationship with Christ or whatever you put it in. You go, well, you shouldn't do that because what? I got nothing. Yeah. And that's what I think what people have experienced in the last 4 years. Yeah. It's like, all right, they're doing this math, and they're like, all right, so I'm going to work 40 hours a week. I don't like it here anyway, but my rent is this.
I'm going to give up whatever percentage it is to the government.
Yeah, and so you look at it, you go, all right, if nothing here changes in 15 years, I'm still going to be in this apartment?
Yeah.
It's
miserable. And that's another reason why it goes beyond numbers, I think, with how people voted, because my husband and I were talking about this week, because I have like an account on Instagram that I've had since I was, a teenager. It's all of it's my secret trad wife. Oh, yeah. But no, it's the account that I've kept with all of my like Hollywood friends and my like sorority sisters, whatever. Yeah. And I was looking at all of their posts. One of them made this whole thing of like, I can't, imagine telling my kids that I voted for, Hitler basically, and this racist whatever. And we were just talking about how, so we didn't vote for him. We didn't wake up and we're like, we want to vote for a felon and a racist and whatever. It's like, we voted for this man, number one, because, I believe in his policies, but he's optimistic. He's resilient. He is heroic in the way that he just keeps coming back. Yeah, fight. And on a, like, even outside of politics, he's just a figure that's larger than life and is so, I think, to a lot of people, inspirational, whether, like, in regards to the American dream. I mean, he was up on stage at a rally recently. He was talking about depression. And he was saying, like, the way to pull yourself out of depression is to have something that's, that's worth fighting for. Yeah. Like, to pour yourself into something fulfilling every single day. Like, that is what, exactly. Yeah. It's like he's aspirational. It's like, that's why so many people see him not just as, like, you're going to reduce inflation, but it's like, you're going to give me this foundation so that I can go off and do amazing things, so that I can get my life back, so I can stop
worrying. If I can believe, at least
exactly.
I can believe, And then Theo was like, you can't even do cocaine in this.
Yeah. JD Camp's like, true.
Who said that? It was JD.
Yeah. It wasn't
Trump. Yeah. You can't even do cocaine in this country.
That line, and then him on Rogan saying that he loves Emily in Paris. Yeah. I was like, you called him weird? Like, this is the most normal dude ever.
He said it's a masterpiece.
Yeah,
exactly. I think it's a masterpiece.
Do any of those, I'm not going to say the LA or the college or it's not your former life in any kind of way, but do you talk to any of them?
I mean, some of them. It's funny.
Are they in on you, or are they out on you?
I think some are ambivalent. Some are out. They've unfollowed me.
Is this the girl from the...
You're like, oh, what happened to her? I get a few texts every once in a while that's like, I just discovered what you're doing. And I was like, okay. And at this point, like, there's no hiding at all. Like, I'm millions of people watching me every single day. It's cool, though. I've had more people excited about it than not. Like, random people that I was in improv classes with when I was like 8 years old. I've gotten messages on Facebook. I don't even have their number.
Brett Cooper.
Who are like, this is so awesome. I can't believe, like thank you for what you're doing. And then I have a few people, but most of the people who hate me, they just quietly unfollow me and we go on our life. But to their credit, I have a lot of people who I definitely disagree with, and I knew that I disagreed with even when I was not doing this as a job and not speaking freely, and I didn't care, and they haven't ditched me, and so I think that's cool, and hopefully even, and then some of those are like the most rabid, whatever, but it's like I've known you for 15 years.
You know, well, I think a lot of, I remember when I moved to LA in 2000, probably the same time, 2014 or something like that. So I was touring as a comedian, but not selling any tickets. And so my agent...
I was auditioning a lot and wasn't booking any jobs.
What is that? My agent was like, well, we need to get you on a movie, on a sitcom or something so you can go to Omaha and sell 3,000 tickets. Like the goal of getting in things was to... Like the goal of having a #1 album for Taylor Swift is you can go tour and sell 70,000 tickets. So I moved out to LA and I was auditioning in like what's it called in January and February? Sweeps.
Pilot season?
No, pilot season, not sweeps. They use like
That's when I created my comic show pilot.
I would love to see this. But they go, you got to stay off the road January and February for pilot season. And
did you also do episodic season?
Oh yeah,
in August, September?
Oh yeah. Which is like I was going out for things that was like there's 7 dudes in this lobby that look like me.
Yeah,
I go,
that's trippy.
Very strange.
Yeah.
And then I started making these videos similar to your journey that everybody was like, we rock with this guy.
Yeah.
And then I was selling 3,000 tickets in Omaha. And you were like, well, hey, maybe you can get, now that you have this big YouTube show, you can like do a show. You're like, no, this is, that's going backwards.
Yeah.
Like going back to do a sitcom.
Yeah.
In real life would be a downgrade for you.
Yeah.
They go, how many people see this CBS on Wednesday night? 250,000. If we did a YouTube show that did 250,000, we'd end it.
Yeah. Which is so funny because like if you had told me that we were having this conversation like 5 years ago, I would have been like, you're insane. Like I would give anything to go back and do some sitcom or whatever. Like, please, I just want that.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. I feel like I love acting. It's my first love. It defines so much of me in my childhood. I feel most like myself when I'm on a set and I'm, you know, in character and I'm so into a script. It's just, it's an art that I love. I hate the lifestyle that comes along with it. I hate the inconsistency. I hate being at the whim of others.
Can't be on the farm.
It can't be on the farm.
Yep.
And I think a big part of it was I was working with so many adults, people who were, you know, co-stars of mine, playing my parents in shows, whatever, and they were never around their kids. They were like 30-year-olds, Netflix series regulars, and we're living in condos with like 4 other 30-year-olds. And I was like, this is not the life this is not what I want.
Yeah.
But I still love the art of it. And it's cool with comment section because I feel like I still get to, you know, be in front of a camera and tell stories. It's just driven by me, and I'm not having to compromise my values. And it's not like I don't want to work with liberals. Like I'm around liberals a lot. I don't care. I have so many friends, but it's like I get to put things out into the world that I genuinely believe in. I get to tell stories that I
with nobody else, just straight to them.
Yeah, exactly. And I still like I write every single episode of the show. I do my own research.
Yeah.
I tell the jokes that I want to tell, and that's so creative in and of itself. Like I'm still. Like, I don't just find a story online and then just spitball it. It's like I'm thinking about the beginning, middle, and end, and how's the best way to convey this to people. So it's really creative. I get to merge everything that I love in a way that's incredibly empowering.
And if something does come your way with the power and influence you have, I feel like a lot of people that have a platform now they can choose.
Yeah, which is super.
Yeah, we don't like.
Which is crazy.
Everybody in Hollywood, you're like, dude, I don't want to, but I have to take the.
It'd be so cool, like, and that's why Pendragon was really fun because it was like I got to choose to go do that, and I got to keep doing the show at the same time. But it was
crazy. Like you're like I could, or and
it was really special, and I think I had a lot of fun, and it reminded me why I loved acting, but it also reminded me why I love doing what I do now and how much I value the show. It was like a really cool reset, and this kind of emergence of my old life and my life now. But yeah, I definitely, like, if things came up, I would dip my toe back into it. But definitely on my, which is, again, it's crazy to say, like, if you told, like, 15-year-old Brett that it's, like, at 23 years old, you could be able to say, like, yes and no to things. Wow. That's, like,
and then somebody else that was on the sidewalk with you in Burbank is like, dude, I got a big, I got a Geico commercial, and it's been, I'm paying rent this month. You're like, how the hell is this the plan?
In that same vein of like evolution of media, do you think there's hope for the legacy entities out there?
Oh gosh, I think that they're losing their power every single day. Elon tweeted, he said, "You are the media now," which I think is so sick. He said that to everybody on X.
That is sweet, man.
So I think that they will always exist. I think that if they want to survive and retain any type of influence, though, they have to adapt. Because kind of like what we were talking about with cancel culture created this entire new breed of content. That is like that's like kudzu. It's like the rapidly growing weed that you can't stop.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to adapt. I think that's why Jeff Bezos wrote that op-ed where he was like, if, we can't, I don't believe that legacy media should be totally destroyed because it is important. I think that we should have newspapers like the New York Times and Washington Post, but they can't continue how they are now. And so I do think they kind of need to be burned down and rebuilt. But I think that new media, independent people will continue to be what's driving it. I think more and more people are moving away from networks too. Yeah. And they're, people are looking to individuals instead of networks and legacy media. Right. So they're really going to have to keep up.
Same with probably like, we've talked about this before, but like church in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's gotten so like, you're like, what? The people like, my girlfriend works for NBC and she's a reporter. I'm like, we need somebody going to city council, listening to what they're doing in there and telling us in the city what is going on. That job will never, but if you don't trust it or they're giving you something,
then it's going to be like,
eroded.
House and Habit, with Jessica Krause. Like, it's like she, as an independent journalist, goes into those courtrooms and is sitting there, and it's like, how is she now the most trusted voice? But it's because there's a gap.
We'll always need that though. But
which is why the free market and capitalism is so important, because there has not been competition for so long. That's why I think if Trump actually can do this and get rid of the Department of Education, I think that would be the greatest thing that ever happens to our education system, because there's no competition. There hasn't been competition for legacy media for so long. Now that you have all these independent voices that are coming up that's forcing. Like Jeff Bezos would have not written that op-ed and be saying, we are going to turn this upside down. We're going to turn this ship around. We're going to hire new voices. We're hiring conservatives. We're going to be better. That wouldn't have happened without Daily Wire. That wouldn't have happened without any of these, without shows like yours and comics like yours. I mean, genuinely, without people.
In a smaller way, but all of us being like, when they were trying to,
these voices.
I mean, in prior to that 4 years ago election, there was so many people's videos getting taken off Facebook. Like, they did try.
You could not compete.
And they like anything about the vaccine was, remember that?
When election interference, anything.
And I think a lot of people, we got to end, but a lot of people, when they did not forget the way that you were like, and people were posting like disease emoji because they couldn't type. Like,
or you have to do the shot, the syringe, instead of saying it.
Like, what, bro? What?
Yeah. And it's so sick because they tried to, they were successful in a lot of ways.
They were
deplatforming people. They got rid of people's accounts. They demonetized people time and time again. A lot of us, dealt with that. We've dealt with strikes.
So did I.
And we came back time and time again. And again, it just grew stronger and stronger. And now you have this competition. It's like, that's how things
this country's
change.
made.
It's America.
Yeah.
It's America. Yeah.
Are we going to see you on a ballot someday?
Oh gosh, no. I said that I would run for like school board or something like that. I would do like a local thing. I just don't think I could do it.
HOA?
I think I want to be in an HOA. I would absolutely die.
I'd show up to meetings. I'd definitely show up to meetings.
Yeah, exactly. With beer and enjoy myself and laugh about it. Yeah.
Well, we love you around here. Tell everybody where they can find you and what you're about.
You can find me at the comment section on YouTube. I'm on
5 days a week.
5 days a week.
That's wild. At what time?
Multiple TikTok pages, Snapchat, Instagram, X.
Everywhere.
Woman of the internet.
Brett Cooper, a woman of the internet. Google her. Brett Cooper, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome.
I mean, yeah, sure, it was a little weird, but on the net, it was a positive. It was a positive. You cannot be serious. On the net, it's a positive.